I have this wristwatch, and it does not have a waterproof seal on the stem. However, the back case does say waterproof somewhere, and it does have a seal. So I do have a rubber seal here. I'll explain for that one too. But anyhow, so I don't have a watch repair shop here around my corner, and I don't know how to buy these seals. I think you can buy them online, but I'm not sure about the size actually. So I'm going to just simply try to make a seal with basic silicone. So this is just a silicone. It says adhesive, but anyhow, so it's really just, and it's clear. It's just silicone for indoor. Is that indoor? Yeah, kitchen silicone. So it says right here. I don't think it has to be adhesive, but it has to be kind of, somehow try to do a test first. Just put some silicone on a surface and make sure one day later it's kind of not stiff, but it doesn't shred easily. That's, I think, the most important part. I think indoor it's fine type. You don't need to go for the more performant one. Now this watch here has a small hole. Each watch is different the way you release the steam. Let me just look past the camera. So I had to press. I'm using a needle, and also I'm going to use the same needle to apply a little bit that silicone. So I'm just pressing here. The stem is all the way in when I press on it, and normally it should release if I do everything right. So you see the way it goes. I cannot show you inside the stem. You won't see. I need to look with a flashlight, but there is no seal inside there. So what I'm going to do is, I could tell that the stem goes like this, and it kind of wraps around this edge here. So that's where I'm going to apply the silicone piece. Just look around the way your the stem on your own watch looks. Now I do not want to put, whoops, the other way. I do not want to put silicone by any means to have it get inside this hole, because then it gets on the stem, and maybe it will get on the I don't know, gears inside. That's certainly something I don't want to happen. So I'm simply going to apply silicone on the outer edge here, just around it, just like that, not on top. Again, I don't want it to get inside by accident. So just a little bit here near the top, but all around. I recommend you practice with, maybe take a piece of something else, something else, try to wrap it, just test to see how it goes. Practice a little bit on something else before you do it on the watch itself. Try to get a little bit of silicone, the needle, so not too much. This one, it's white silicone, but when it hardens, it's transparent, but I don't think it's important. Also, if you apply silicone, and I think I put so much, if you apply silicone and you don't like it, be careful when you rub it. You don't want any bit of silicone in there, because it's going to harden. Then when you rotate the stem, it may get bits of silicone inside, and again, that's not a good scenario. So let's try to, maybe I'm going to take it one more time. I'm doing this for the first time, and also I'm working behind the camera, so it's not so easy. Just stay with me. Okay, I think this should be enough. Let's move this thing away. So again, I'm trying to watch my camera. I did focus. Yeah, I think it's not too much again. So again, one of the things I don't want to do is get that silicone inside that hole. That's not something I want to happen. Let's try. And I'll explain in a moment about, obviously you need to you still need to rotate the crown, the stem, right? So that's obviously that's the normal operation. I'll explain in a moment what's my idea about it. Now I know that the movement will fall if I reverse this upside down, so it's a bit tricky at this point because the stem is no longer keeping it inside. So I try to go all around it. I think there must be a little bit kind of a layer, certain thickness, but not too much. And just to go fast forward a little bit, my idea is to, once I finish, just put a certain layer in it. I will insert that. Let me just concentrate about it first, better than talking. So again, I'm not rotating the movement so it doesn't follow my table. But actually you can certainly remove the movement, but since I'm filming, I'd rather not. It's making things easier for me. So I think it's pretty much all around. It's better to kind of work not too slow because these things may cure at some point. Depends how fast they do. And again, I don't think it's necessary to have adhesive on the bottle, say, so it says adhesive. Okay. Also, I'm not going to do any water test, a real life water test. Let me just look with my, I have a magnifying glass just to check it's all around. It's pretty nice. I don't think I can focus more the camera for you, but I'll try to give you a close look, maybe. It's not that easy because it's so small and basically it's almost, and you can tell it's not a very clean job either. Whoops, there goes my movement. That's also the downsides of working behind the camera. It's maybe it's not easy to see, but I can tell you that filming and doing something at the same time, it's not very convenient. It's not very easy because there's a certain amount of stress, a certain amount of to pay attention to what you do. Okay, so I kind of trust myself what I did in there. It's not so easy to observe. Let's just make sure there's none. There's a little bit that got inside, which I don't like, but I don't think it's that. Let's try to insert my needle a little bit, not too deep, obviously. Just try to make sure there's none inside. I do have a piece of paper here to clean the needle. So again, it may not look like it's a lot. I think because it's very thin, it starts to cure. Let's try something else at this point. Just getting a tiny bit of paper. I'm going to make a thin kind of cylinder and try to rub it inside that hole so as to remove any kind of silicone that may have got inside the hole. So it looks like this. Again, not too deep because you can actually push silicone inside and into that gear that's in there. So this, it's really just inside not on the outer edge. Okay, I was saying at some point I'm not going to test this for like, I don't know, in a shower or something like this. I just do what I can and hopefully it's going to help, but that's the limit. So again, I think it's fairly important not to have silicone inside because it's going to get on the stem, and that's where it can cause problem, right? It gets on the stem goes inside, it gets silicone gear, and then it's no longer the normal friction. It may slow the mechanism. This is not actually, it's just adjusting a gear, yes, but still you don't want to get that. And also I'm going to pay attention when I insert the stem so I don't smear it by touching the outer edge. Also, I think it's fairly important. Hopefully my eyes, okay, that's very much. Okay, so at this point, simply push it inside all the way. Sometimes to rotate it a bit. That's it. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm simply going just not to touch it. Make sure it's correctly inserted, the movement sits correctly. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let it cure, let it dry or harden. It's not really hardening. At least 1 day or 2 days. There's no rush. Only when I think it's fully cured, I am going to rotate a little bit the crown. At that moment, the silicone should have set, should have been sort of hard, not hard. Normally, it's not really like a rock or something like this, but and if when I will rotate the crown at that moment with the hardened silicone in place, it will simply just kind of unstuck, if you want, the stem, unstuck the crown, and it would just, at that moment, the silicone will be set. And normally it should not smear inside or crumble inside or something like this, because it's already set. So from that moment, or basically if you want just more clearly, just let it set a few days before trying to adjust your watch time, anything. And also obviously you will need to, for adjustments, you need to pull out the crown, right? So I'm not sure if it's going to stay in place. I don't know. This is the first time I'm doing this. Maybe you can see around if there's still silicone. Use a magnifying glass when you pull the crown just to adjust your time or date. But hopefully it's going to stay in place, and hopefully it's the correct thickness that will create a good seal, right? Because if the layer of silicone is too thin, then it may not actually seal all around correctly. But at this point, this is how much I can do about it, other than getting a real seal. And for the remaining of the sealing part, waterproofness, you have this seal on the case. My suggestion is, if you cannot replace this seal, if maybe yours is damaged, it's old, and you cannot find a replacement, it's the same idea. Place, notice how it sits, depends, maybe there's different models. So this edge here goes inside the case. Place, if it's like this one, place a tiny, tiny amount of silicone all around, just where this black seal, rubber seal, is sitting on mine. So that's how you get it. And basically you just snap back the case. If it's a case that rotates the same way, try to put just a small amount of silicone. Look at a little bit of the size of this seal. So this is really small seal. It's not even 1 millimeter thick. So a small amount, so it doesn't smear around, but also I think it's really important not to get silicone inside. Normally it should not happen, but just be careful, especially if you have a cut like this, especially around the stem sometimes. just be careful, but normally just a little bit of silicone all around. Don't leave any spot clean, empty. And when you put the case back, it should just cure and stay in place until the next time. Be aware that if you use a silicone that says, like mine, adhesive, I'm not sure if there are two types, adhesive and non-adhesive. I don't know, but it may, some silicones which are perhaps better quality may sort of get the case harder to remove the next time. So just be aware of this. Especially some cases are actually really very difficult to put back on, are very, very tight. Not this one, but I have a video on one of those. So just keep this in mind. It may be more difficult to remove the next time the case from your watch. So hopefully this helps a little bit, and it's always, I'm not diving or I'm not taking showers with this watch, but when you are outside, when it's raining, when it's winter time, or even when you just sweat, you have body sweat, it can fairly easily get inside through either the crown or either the case if it's not waterproof. And you may simply, in the long term, even if you don't have condensation on the glass, in the long term, that small amount of humid air will simply get on the mechanism and will start rusting various pivots in there, and just in the long term it's going to damage your watch. So that's why I'm doing these things.